Shakespeare in the Park is happening. This is so exciting. I think I speak for the whole community when I say we're so happy to see you guys out in the park and it's happening. But do take us back a little bit to maybe late winter. And how did we get here? What was the process like going from then to Summer of Sonnets today?
I mean, smooth, just smooth,
casual.
No incidents, super casual. In about April, when we normally would be finalizing all of our contracts with the parks, we had a show that we had sort of been in the process of developing, and we realized that the parks were really slow on kind of confirming with us. So we basically organized a big sort of Zoom meeting with all of the park reps that we normally deal with, and with CAM, the Conseil des Arts de Montréal, and had a really frank conversation about where they were at in terms of all of the COVID regulations and their own sort of situations. And it just became clear that the idea of doing a traditional show was just not happening for anybody. The thing that kind of allows for a really big crowd to gather is a really clear delineated space with entrances and exits and registered tickets. And that's the one thing that neither the parks or we just don't have the infrastructure to do that at multiple locations where there is, no boundary to people just sort of walking in and showing up. And so their big thing was, we're into pop-up shows. Like, they were like, if you can do a spontaneous pop-up show, that's what we want. And so we said, all right,
challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Pop-up Shakespeare, you got it. So we've been doing this live pop-up show. This will be our fourth one today. And we also decided, because we knew not a lot of people were going to get to see the show, that we wanted to do some digital sort of elements, as well as a few workshops. We often work with Geordie Theatre and their school to create workshops for young people, so we've been doing that as well. So we tried to just sort of do like a smorgasbord of things.
And what is the live show, Summer of Sonnets? What are we getting?
So the live show, we got everybody in a room and picked a bunch of sonnets and just started reading and started playing and started experimenting with. And so we, based on a sort of really extended kind of workshopping process, we ended up creating essentially 2 sequences of a handful of sonnets. And they can either be sort of seen independently of each other, like you can just watch one sequence and it's fun. Or if you see the 2 of them, you'll see kind of a thread that gets woven through the 2, and it creates kind of a half-hour show with a 30-minute intermission in between.
Anton,
yes.
Of course we know you are a seasoned performer, and you have performed with Repercussion several times, but now you're in this new role as assistant director. Can you tell us a bit about what this experience has been like, and what drew you towards this role?
Well, I've always been the type of person that has wanted to try everything, and coming into this new world of theater, I told myself, I don't want to limit myself as a performer. Why not try other things? During the pandemic, I got into writing, and of course, writing shows like, I want to direct the shows that I write. And I thought, directing. And I had a conversation with Amanda about this new transition that I was feeling in my artistic journey. And luckily for me, the opportunity arose, and I did not hesitate. I was like, yes, when can I start? And this experience has been a great kind of like window into the different possibilities of directing. I've learned a lot through this experience from a directing point of view and from an acting point of view.
So adaptation is the name of the game these days, of course. So I'm curious to know, big or small, has there been any happy surprises that have come from this process?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first and foremost, working with the Sonnets, normally we do a play, and so this material is not something, other than in workshops or sort of training, situations, I haven't spent a lot of time sort of deep diving into the sonnets. And so this was such a cool opportunity to do that. And that was incredibly fascinating and wonderful. The filming of these digital sonnets has also been just such a delightful, it's not something I ever really sort of imagined, even just for myself as an artist doing. And so being behind the camera with this awesome little film crew is just a total joy. And, you know, as always, like watching a team of people respond to challenging situations with creativity and grace and integrity and generosity has been really life affirming.
You know, not everybody can come out, or not everybody is comfortable coming out to see shows because of COVID, and I noticed a lot during the heat of the pandemic that theatre companies were still putting on shows, and it was accessible online. They would film their performances, and I've noticed, and I appreciate what we're doing with this project is that not only are we having the live aspect of the show, but you can catch the live show on Facebook through a live stream free, right? If you're not comfortable coming out. And I feel like that really opened my eyes to like how accessible theatre needs to be.
Yeah. And that actually bleeds really nicely into this new Sonnets project that's happening. Can you speak a little bit about that?
We were really inspired by this project out of New York called the Sonnet Project. So I was like, we totally need to do that here, so that what we're doing is basically recording one sonnet in each of the parks that we're playing at. So during the day, we're a little film team, and then we transform into a theater company in the evening. And it's just been so cool to think about the sonnets in yet another different medium.
So you've commissioned some folks on writing brand new sonnets?
Yes. I was so inspired by the ground that Shakespeare covers in these sonnets. But at the same time, there is a whole other, world of experience that Shakespeare can't possibly speak to. And so I was like, okay, we're going to record 15 sonnets. So 10 of them will be Shakespeare, and then let's invite some other writers to have a go at their own song. Yeah, so we ended up talking to about four different writers, actually, and then a fifth one. Well, they have taken on the challenge. They're writing their own sonnet, and then we're in 4 of the cases, we're filming them in a park of their choice. And then the 5th one, the bonus track, is Gitanjali Gitu Jane, who's in Mexico. So she's going to film herself because we can't afford to take our crew to Mexico. Not yet. Who knows?
So how can audiences see Summer of Sonnets and this new project?
The digital sonnets, we'll start to roll those out as early as late next week. We're still working on it. So
August.
So August. And then we're also going to be inviting people once we start launching our own videos. We're going to sort of invite people to find their own sonnet, because Repercussion can't kind of fill the space that we normally would creatively, that we can at least inspire other people to get creative on their own as well. There's something really meditative and beautiful about taking that time to think about those big thoughts. And I feel like right now in this rush to get back to normal, it's really easy to kind of forget this incredibly challenging time that we have all just been through in a multiplicity of ways. And there's something valuable about taking the time to contemplate it.
Well, thank you for bringing us all of these different ways to do that and to inspire ourselves into contemplation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.